You would think that the injuries would eventually stop, but they just simply haven't. Let's go ahead. Let's look at everything that went down yesterday and talk about some new team plans. All right. Don't care about the Cowboys trades, trading for defensive players, blah, blah, blah. Y'all know you're not here for my defensive player takes. I'd be a clown if I tried giving those. Kyler Murray's not going to play tonight. It doesn't really matter. If you have McBride, if you have Harrison, honestly, you may be better off without Kyler Murray anyway. The long-term injuries suffered in week 9 are to Jaden Daniels, Tucker Kraft, confirmed torn ACL, confirmed out for the rest of the season. Joe Alt, confirmed out for the rest of the season. And then Jaden Daniels. We also get an official update. Amari Hampton not expected to return from the IR until after the week 12 bye. And then, like I said, Joe Alt to undergo season-ending ankle surgery. Matthew Golden's injury not considered a long-term issue. Terry McLaurin unlikely to play in week 10. For us to already be getting that report right now, when week 9's not even over, absolutely insane. Let's see. The head coach in Washington on Jaden Daniels getting injured by staying in the game. I missed it. 100% that's on me. Yeah, I mean, that was my message in the Flock League group chat. Once Jaden Daniels got injured, I was like, well, why the hell was he even out there? What are they even playing for at this point? Let's see if there's anything else that's worthy of discussing. Like we already said, you do have Tucker Kraft officially out for the season, but I think that's about it in terms of what we have had so far. Garrett Wilson's going to return to practice this week. I know Tyrod Taylor is going to return to practice. Kayshon Boutte is day-to-day. And, yeah, I think that's it in terms of... And then Luke McCaffrey going down does not matter. But let's go ahead and let's dive into everything that we have here with these teams. I first want to shout out Underdog Fantasy, the only sponsor of this channel for the past 5 seasons. I'm going to put you all on a little something. I don't know if our rest of season wide receivers video has come out yet, but what I actually found may be the lock of all locks, and it's still there. CeeDee Lamb, currently on Underdog, you can go lower than 1.5 rushing yards for tonight's game. While, yes, CeeDee Lamb had a carry last week, I believe, for 2 yards. If you want to take a look at what CeeDee Lamb's done through his NFL career, he has had 1 carry for 2 rushing yards all season long. We go back and look at last year. How many games did he have 2 or more rushing yards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 16. Lamb lower than 1.5 rushing yards. That's what I'm rolling with tonight. Of course, if y'all wanted to check out picks on Underdog Fantasy, you always can with the link in the description, link in the live chat, link in the comment section. Code FLOCK will get you $100 added to your account after you play your first 5. And on top of that, you'll get a free pick. If you sign up before the game tonight, it'll be a free Dak Prescott pick, higher or lower half a total yard. Sign up after the game, it's going to be like a free Geno Smith pick, higher or lower half a total yard, or free Bo Nix pick, higher or lower half a total yard, something like that. But the link will be in the description. It'll be in the comment section. It'll be in the live chat. And code FLOCK will get you free questions for these live streams. You all know I'm live streaming, answering your free fantasy football questions every single day until the season ends. But appreciate y'all coming to hang out with us. And I see a bunch of people in the chat says, thanks for that, Mason. Surprised to do both hats. I like Mo's, very generous and much appreciated. Yo, Mason, got the Flock Fantasy hat. Appreciate it today. How many of y'all got the hats today? We got another one, got the hat today. Perfect. Happy to see that these hats are making it in y'all's direction. I just shipped out another 160 hats. The fiance was busy today as well, so I had to do it myself. Did not get any help with it. So literally from the time I woke up today to the time I went to start this live stream, I've just been shipping hats for y'all. So if you filled out that Google form, hopefully you get yours soon. But I really appreciate y'all hanging out with us. And let's check this out for Jeff Ham. Doesn't send a question in with this team, but this is going to be a dynasty team. We got Andy getting a hat too. Love to see it, my friend. But anyway, this is forever not rebuilding. Where are we in the league analyzer? We are the second team in the league analyzer. We are 2-6. So this is 100% a team that we should be thinking long-term upside with and how we can rebuild. But there's a very big issue that we're going to have here. And that's we do not have our own 2026 first round pick. And if we don't have our own 2026 first round pick, this is severely going to limit the flexibility that we have with this team. And if we are looking at the course of action that we should take, it's not all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we need to go through and we need to sell any player that's producing to lock up the 101 this next season. Like, you're not going to be able to just say, let's make that easy pivot. Now, if this is a 10-team league where 6 teams can make the playoffs, then I would say that you're still probably in it. And in that case, you're probably wanting to go through and you're probably wanting to continue to try to win and continue to play for this season. However, if it's a 10-team league where only 4 teams are going to make the playoffs and you're currently sitting at 2-6, it's time to shut it down. We have no shot. Quarterback, we have Justin Herbert. We have Caleb Williams. I think we had Caleb ranked higher this week, just given the fact that it was a great matchup that you had against the Cincinnati Bengals. But going into the future, frankly, you can just play the matchups with these 2 quarterbacks. Running back, we have Ginty as well as Amari and Hampton that we can build around as cornerstone assets for the long term. We have Chase Brown. While yes, he is a younger running back, I would still classify him as a contending piece. And then we have some miscellaneous depth underneath. But if you were to pivot over to a full-blown rebuild, I probably would go ahead and throw Chase Brown onto the trade block, because realistically, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing in the world if we were to see the Cincinnati Bengals go out there and look to bring in another running back this offseason and see that value for Chase Brown go down dramatically. Then going over to wide receiver, we have Igbuka, we have Rome Odunze, Garrett Wilson, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, all as young wide receivers still on their rookie deals that can continue to get better as time goes on. So there's no real stress that you have for these wide receivers in terms of needing to sell them. And going over and looking at what we have at tight ends, we are currently sitting with Loveland, Gadsden, Kyle Pitts, all very young tight ends that we can contend with right now and build around for the long term. Now, if you were a team that had no shot to make it to the playoffs, 0% chance, maybe you lost this week, we fall to 2-7. Maybe it's a 10-team league where only 4 teams make the playoffs. Then what I would probably look to do is I would probably go ahead and honestly, I would just sell Chase Brown, pick up a couple extra future picks, maybe sell Chase Brown into second and try to go get a future rookie first. But that would really be it. And if you are still in the fight, maybe you won this week, or maybe 6 teams make the playoffs in this 10-team league, then honestly, I love your team, especially now that you have the Loveland breakout, and I would just be chilling as is. So I think you have a really good team here, and I'm probably not going to be looking to do much with this outside of a potential Chase Brown trade, but that's not even something that you necessarily have to do. But I really appreciate you and really hope I was able to help you out in some way with this. But in reality, I don't think you need much help. Now, let's go ahead and move this over to our next question. It's going to be from Mr. Filthy Wubs. Says 5-3, 4th in points for. I'm in the middle of the pack at running back and wide receiver with Henderson taking a step up and Terry McLaurin out indefinitely. What moves do we make? Do we trade Josh Allen for a tier down and a flex asset? So the reason that I think you can consider this type of deal will be the league settings here. This is a league in which you are starting 8 total players and it's a 12-team format. So if we are looking at the depth in this league, it actually is going to matter. And Terry McLaurin, one, like you already mentioned, is out indefinitely. And two, at the same time, now that you have the Jaden Daniels injury, knowing Mariota is his quarterback, I just think that he's never really going to be making a difference at this point. Now, moving over to what we have position by position. We have Josh Allen, elite level quarterback. And we have Jake Ferg. Do I have Jake Ferg as an elite level tight end rest of season? Realistically, probably not. Again, I do think a lot of the early volume that he saw was given the injury that he had to CeeDee Lamb. But still, we are able to start Jake Ferguson every single week regardless. Going over to running back, Ashton Genty, we can start every week. Jalen Warren, we can start every week. Trevion Henderson, we can start right now whenever we have no Ramondre Stevenson. Obviously, if the Patriots do go out there and trade for running back, which they are currently rumored, that may change. And then going over to wide receivers, we have Pickens, Pittman, Worthy. Wouldn't be startable in some formats, but in this one, he is. So in reality, you have 8 players you can put into your starting lineup right now. Samaje Perine gets hit with the injury. Jack Bech, it just is not going to be viable given what we have with Brock Bowers' usage. So what I would probably look to do at this point is I would probably cut Samaje Perine, pick up Isaiah Pacheco. I would cut Jack Bech. I would pick up Christian Kirk. And then in terms of a trade, right now, I'm not wanting to do anything. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think that eventually you could go out there and, like you are mentioning, if it gets to a point in which we are really going to need an extra starter, I wouldn't fault you for down tiering from Josh Allen, especially knowing that you're able to just pick up Brock Purdy for free. But until we maybe lose out on the viability of a player like Trevion Henderson, who here, at least in the short term, is a startable name, I probably am going to leave this team as is outside of those 2 small waiver pivots. But I really appreciate you. I know you've been with us forever now, my friend. I appreciate you. But as always, let me know if there's anything that I can help you with. And I really hope that you filled out that Google form. So I sent you out some of those hats. Maybe I haven't sent it out to you yet, but I hope you filled out that Google form. So if you don't already have a hat, you get one here soon. But again, really do appreciate you, my friend. Now let's move this over to our next question. Now, this coming out from FS says, I am hurting and in need of desperate advice. I do not know whether to give up or try to make a comeback. I have a decent team, but I've had bad luck and made a bad decision by trading Achane and Javonte from A Dallas for Nico and Romadunze. Thank you. Well, my friend, I may or may not have also made a bad decision trading for Romadunze and Nico Collins as well, with what freaking Rome just did to us. Absolutely pathetic. But anyway, let's go through and let's dive into the team. We are comeback season. We are currently, okay, GG's. GG's, RIP, rest in peace, dead and buried. It's over. We are 1-7 coming into this week, and I'm afraid Romadunze maybe put us in the grave. Romadunze with a big fat 0, when if you are 1-7, you are in win or go home mode. It sucks to say, but it is true. It is the case. Like, I am 7-2 on my own team after this week. And I'm more so thinking like, oh, what's the upside for the fantasy playoffs, right? Because when it's the fantasy playoffs, that's when it's win or go home. For you, being 1-7, it's win or go home right now. Outside of one specific scenario, and that's maybe this was, especially if we started Jaden Daniels this week. If you've watched the live stream of Sunday morning, I know you probably saw me saying to start Drake May over Daniels. So hopefully we start in May. But the only scenario in which you can come back from being 1-7 or 1-8 is if it's a 10-team league where 6 teams make the playoffs. Because then in that instance, you will at least find yourself in a position where 6-8 makes the cutoff. Now here at QB, we are currently sitting with Drake May and Jaden Daniels. And please let me know in the live chat if you think I'm reckless in saying this. But I put Jaden Daniels on the site in a bucket of players that, hey, they're out for the season. They have no value. Can y'all please let me know if y'all think I'm wrong here? I know that it was deemed a sprain, not a fracture. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe we need to put Jaden Daniels back in the rankings. But let me know in the chat, do you think Jaden Daniels is going to be back for the fantasy football season this year? But I'm assuming he has 0 value. Okay, people in the chat are confirming, 0 value. So we're rolling with Drake May, which we are completely fine. Okay. Now, running back, we have Kyron, Etienne, Dobbins, Woody Marks, Kamani Vidal. Here is the hope that you possibly have. If there is any hope with this team, it's you need to take one of these depth running backs because we have potentially 4 or 5 startable names. And you need to send the depth running back in a 2-for-1 deal with a player like Devonta Smith, a player like Rome Odunze, a player like Nico Collins, just somebody that is going to be in your starting lineup, and you need to find an upgrade at wide receiver. Because you already have Kyron, you already have Etienne, both respectively through their bye week. And realistically, you're probably not going to be looking at starting any of the other depth running backs over those top guys. And you have 3 other depth running backs that you realistically could look at. So again, what I would try doing here is I would just try sending one of these running backs like J.K. Dobbins in a 2-for-1 deal with probably not Rome Odunze coming off a 0-point game. Nobody's going to buy him. But if you could maybe send J.K. Dobbins with Devonta Smith to go get a wide receiver upgrade, that's what you would look to do. With the open roster spot, you could pick up Trey Benson, but honestly, it's not like Trey Benson's even that exciting for your team specifically, because with your team specifically, again, we can't be thinking about the upside that you have late in the season. We need to be thinking about how we win some games right this second. But I really do appreciate you and really hope that I was able to help you out in some way with this, my guy. And again, thank you so much for being a member of the flock. I'm rooting for you here, to say the least, but it is an uphill battle. Now, let's move this over to Cruz. Says, in the Superflex Startup League, I went heavy at wide receiver in the first 4 rounds as they just feel. Made the mistake of not getting a tight end and a wide receiver until the late middle rounds, and with my wide receivers not playing well, it's killing my team. Trying to make some trades to draft a quarterback early next year and see if I can grab a running back. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you, Chief. In my opinion, we should not be making trades in Dynasty with the goal of targeting a specific player in rookie drafts right now while we are still during the season. If you are wanting to go through and if you are wanting to pivot to a rebuild, which I 100% think you should because you were 1-7 coming into this past week, We are focusing on how do we get the most points into our starting lineup right now. I'm sorry. How do we get that's the last thing we were focused in on. How do we get the most value on our roster for February, for March, for April, for May, for June, for July? I mean, just think about how long this season has been. And it's only been 9 months. I'm sorry, it's only been 9 weeks. It's about 2.5 months. During the Dynasty offseason, you're going to have double that time to make trades. So if you can just focus in on how do we get the most value onto our team for this offseason so we can make trades, you don't need to be worried about, oh, we're going to draft a quarterback then in the rookie draft. No, like you can figure it out in the offseason without just having to pencil in what you're going to be doing in the draft. Now, looking at what we have at quarterback, we are sitting with Lawrence, Michael Penix, Geno Smith, Dylan Gabriel. Are there any quarterbacks here that are probably going to have less value this offseason than they do right now? Maybe you say Geno Smith just because Geno Smith is so damn old, but the reality is you're going to have to wait for Geno to hopefully have a good game if you are going to be able to sell him for anything, because no contender really is looking at Geno Smith right now thinking that he is going to move the needle. Going over to running back, Judkins is a great RB to build around on a rebuilding team. Kenneth Walker, Byshell, Tootin, Pollard, Spears, DJ Giddens. Kenneth Walker is really one of the only names that I could look at. Kenneth Walker in that 2022 draft class, same as Breece Hall. He's coming to the end of his rookie contract. If you could send Kenneth Walker and a secondary piece and go get a future first, it would be a no-brainer. I mean, if you could sell Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, and Tajay Spears and go get a future first, I would do so in a heartbeat. Jefferson, Tedero, McMillan, Brian Thomas, Brandon Ayuk, all these wide receivers you can build around for the long term. Going over and looking at tight end, we have TJ Hawkinson. I would say Hawkinson's probably another player that we want to go out there and throw in the trade block. Maybe if you could sell Hawkinson for like Terrence Ferguson in a second, that would be something I'd look to do as well. But all in all, I think that you just want to go out there and try to sell some of these key vets, such as Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, TJ Hawkinson, and see if we can pick up an additional future first, second, and third. And if you're able to do that, then in the offseason, you're going to have the 101, the 201, the 301, hopefully an additional first to bring in onto a team that already has Jefferson, Tedero, McMillan, Brian Thomas, Brandon Ayuk, Lawrence, and Michael Penix. And would that make us all of a sudden great? No, but it'd make us a hell of a lot better than we are now. But I really appreciate you and really hope I was able to help you out in some way with this, my friend. David says, use code FLOCK, but don't know where my questions would be on the Flock website or how to use them. So you can find the instructions on how to get those free questions for these live streams by taking advantage of that offer on Underdog Fantasy in the description of the live stream where that Underdog link was. It's just right under it. It's really simple. All you got to do is sign up to Underdog, use code FLOCK, make at least a $10 deposit, and then have an account on flockfantasy.com with the same email address. Then every morning, Underdog Fantasy sends me a CSV of the email addresses that signed up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK the day prior. I upload that CSV to flockfantasy.com. The devs of flockfantasy.com built it into the script where if any accounts on the site have matching emails, they get accredited with free questions for these live streams. So if you're having any additional issues, you can email support at flockfantasy.com and they'd be happy to help you out. But let's move this over to Dak Shots. Says, let me know your honest opinion. Should I make any moves? Thank you, brother. Thank you, my friend. Right now we are 7th in the league analyzer. We are 4-4 coming into this past week. We are near the bottom of this league when it comes to actual points scored. It's a 12-team start 8 format, so it's the same format that I have for my own league. Here we have the elite quarterback and we have Brock Bowers. Okay, so here's the thing. You have Brock Bowers, so we won this week. We're 5-4 now. There's no way in hell you lost. And all of a sudden, your team is significantly better than it was beforehand. If you were 4-4 in a Brock Bowers team and you were able to get over his injury, you are going to be so much better rest of season. But if we are looking at this, we have the elite quarterback. We have the elite tight end, both already through their bye week. I love what we're doing here, not rostering a backup QB, not rostering a backup tight end. Now, running back, we have Genty Judkins. So 2 running backs that are rookies that hopefully can get better as time goes on. We have Trevion Henderson. So we only have rookie running backs. Base expectation with these rookie running backs are they get better as time goes on, right? If we were looking at what we have when it comes to like our running back 4 being Woody Marks, our running back 5 being Trevion Henderson, obviously I'm not going to sit here and say these players are super exciting, but at the same time, at least you're in a situation where there are running back 4 and running back 5, so we don't necessarily need them. Now, going over to wide receiver, we have Pickens, Cedro McMillan, Marvin Harrison. We have the long-term upside of Brandon Ayuk, Matthew Golden. I would say there's not much for this team to do. The depth at running back and wide receiver is going to matter in a format like this just because you need options to be able to put in your flex spot. You have just enough depth where I don't think it's important enough for me to tell you, yeah, let's go ahead and let's look at selling Josh Allen to down tier quarterback and pick up an additional wide receiver starter. Like for the time being, we can start Genty, Judkins, Henderson, Pickens, Cedro McMillan, and Marvin Harrison. Maybe like once we see an option like Trevion Henderson no longer be viable, then at that point you could go ahead and at that point you could potentially consider going through and down tiering from one of the elite onesies to go get another name. But for now, I would just focus in on waivers. Realistically, what I would probably do is I would probably look to cut Joe Mixon if he's not on your IR in favor of a player like Christian Kirk. If he is on your IR, I would cut Joe Mixon for Loveland because I think Loveland could potentially be cut him for Loveland first off. And for the reason being, I think Loveland could actually hit your flex and give you enough depth. If you can't get Loveland, then honestly, you're probably chilling and you're probably not doing anything at all. Outside of the instance in which, again, if you were to get like Ramondre Stevenson back and all of a sudden you weren't going to be able to play Trevion, then at that point, I would probably go ahead and I'd probably try to down tier from one of the elite onesies and pick up an additional starter because the depth's going to matter in this format. But obviously, you're in a very comfortable position just because you have that Bowers breakout and you're able to stay alive. Like the team in my league was 1-7, I believe, coming into this week with Brock Bowers. So it doesn't matter now that all of a sudden they have Bowers breaking out because they're already out of it, but you yourself are just fine. But I really appreciate you and really hope I was able to help you out in some way with this, but I think the person that's actually going to help you out is Brock Bowers, not me. Now, this next team is going to be free Garrett Wilson. 4-4 in a 12-team keeper. We keep 4 veterans and a rookie. Team is in a healthy spot lineup-wise. We just traded Kraft and Kareem Hunt for Tyler Warren. Incredible. Obviously, this trade was done before the Tucker Kraft injury. At season's end, I will keep JT, Cook, London, Rome, and now Warren, which will be insane keepers. Any advice on how to improve the team, or should we stay patient and let the results come? Thanks, Mason. Thank you, my friend. We are 4-4 coming into this week. And, there is going to be a big thing that you need to change with your team. 100%. The thing that is wrong with your team is just the amount of these wide receivers that you are rostering. It is a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex format. So you can only start 3 wide receivers at the very most. And we are sitting with 8 wide receivers in our on our team, and we only have 2 running backs. So, if we're looking at the construction of this team, the starting lineup's incredible. Your keepers are incredible. But the bench itself is where I'm going to have issues. I think a few of these names on the bottom, such as Tez Johnson, such as like Kayshon Boutte, maybe Boutte you can keep, but at the very minimum, there's no way in hell Tez Johnson's ever hitting your starting lineup here. I think I would need to go through, and if I were you, I would cut Tez Johnson and look to pick up a running back off waivers. Honestly, I would cut him right now and pick up Jaden Blue just in case Javonte gets injured tonight. And then you could go ahead and you could drop Jaden Blue if Javonte stays healthy and pick up a different running back such as DJ Giddens as the handcuff option in Indianapolis. Or honestly, cut Tez Johnson, pick up Theo Johnson because you're about to need an option that you can put in at tight end with Tyler Warren's bye coming up. But frankly, what I think that you just simply have to do here is you just have to trim off some of the fat at the wide receiver position because this isn't a best ball league. You'd have to try to predict when you're going to get these players into your starting lineup. And I have no idea how you could try predicting that right now. But outside of that, I think your team is solid. It's like the top end's great. Your keepers are great. I don't want to make any crazy trades, but I do think you need to maybe trim some of the wide receivers out of this, just given how this starting lineup requirement is structured where you only start 2 receivers and 1 flex. But I really appreciate you and really hope I was able to help you out in some way, my friend. Now, let's move this over to our next question. It's going to be from Hish, who says, I don't know how to feel about my team. Feel like I should improve on the running backs, but I don't know who to trade and what is appropriate value. Okay, so we are Hari's team. We are the 3rd team in this league. Honestly, man, your running backs look fine. This is a league in which running backs going to be very important because it's a half PPR format, according to League Analyzer. Which means we're going to be slightly more inclined to go ahead and put a running back into the flex as opposed to what we would with wide receivers in a full PPR format. Looking at quarterback, we have Caleb and Kyler Murray. So Caleb was a very easy start this week, just given the matchup, but that's not going to be the case every week forever. So if we're looking at what we have with Caleb Williams here, I would say that quarterback could be something that we look at addressing. If you wanted to go through and if you wanted to actually pick up Brock Purdy, I wouldn't fault you for it. I think you could very easily make the argument that it would make sense to cut Kyler and pick up Purdy, to be honest. Then going over to running back, we have Barkley, Chase Brown, Kyle Monangai. Barkley and Chase Brown, both incredible starts. I'm assuming that you won this week because of the Kyle Monangai start. And Chase Brown with the Samaje Perine injury, all of a sudden just getting absolutely everything in Cincinnati. And then going over to wide receiver, we have the top 2 wide receivers in fantasy with Puka Nacua and Jackson Smith-Njigba. We have Tedero McMillan. Maybe the depth below this is not the best. Where we have Parker Washington, who obviously is a viable play just with the injuries that you have both to Brian Thomas as well as Travis Hunter. But then Tez Johnson, Darius Slayton, Dimey Brown, like in reality, I think you'd be better off cutting these names at the bottom and just going to the waiver wire and picking up somebody like Torrey Horton, picking up somebody like Alec Pierce. And then if we were looking at any trades in play, one thing you could try doing is if you could trade for a better quarterback, that'd be great. Like, I don't know where you're at with the waiver wire priority, but honestly, if I were you, I would try to pick up Loveland, even though you have 2 incredible tight ends. Because I think realistically, you could very easily make the argument, well, let's go ahead and let's look to sell Dallas Goedert, put him in a 2-for-1 deal and try to go get an upgrade over Caleb Williams at the quarterback position. And if you were able to make that 2-for-1 deal and go get an improvement at QB, I think that'd be incredible. Especially if you're able to backfill with Loveland and then you could play the matchups with Dalton Kincaid and Loveland rest of season. And then looking at any other waiver wire pivots, like I said, I would just simply cut these guys like Dimey Brown, Darius Slayton, Tez Johnson, and pick up the names like Alec Pierce, Torrey Horton. Maybe you can also look at Jerry Jeudy now. But yeah, if there was a trade to be made, I think it would be trying to sell a tight end. I don't think you inherently need to upgrade running back. Of course, I'm not going to stop you from upgrading your running back position in a format like this. But I think Barkley RB1, Chase Brown RB2 is completely fine. Where I'd probably go ahead and if I were you, I would just try to upgrade QB if possible by selling one of the tight ends. But I really appreciate you and really hope I was able to help you out in some way with this. I'm going to go ahead and send you over some free questions just in case there's anything else that you want us to take a look at. I'd be happy to help you out with it, my friend. But let me go ahead and pivot this over to the quicker questions. These are going to be the trade questions, the start sit questions, and then we can get back to the team reviews later on. But as always, we have a bunch of these to look at from Bitter Hornet. And as always, let me make sure that Bitter Hornet has as many free questions in the account as he possibly could need. And I think I did see that we had an email come in from you, my guy. Okay, the system's apparently not letting. I don't know if you can hear me clicking my mouse right now. Just trying to give you more vouchers. I don't know if your account's maxed out with vouchers, what it is, but we'll try to get you some more. But anyway, I'm going to figure out the hat stuff for you. We're going to make sure you get everything you need. But he's 0-9, needs a running back, wide receiver badly. I'm selling Higgins, Dowdle high. I'll be thin at wide receiver 2 in flex. What do you think? Jaden Daniels is an absolute 0 now. So you are selling Rico Dowdle for Lamar Jackson. Fair, up to you. Tyler Warren, Aaron Jones, T. Higgins versus Bijan Robinson. I think that this is the Bijan Robinson side, and it's not even remotely close. I do, for whatever reason, there. Let me. But anyway, yeah, I would go through and I'd make this deal. And if he said like, oh, I want to keep Parker Washington, I want to keep Theo Johnson, let him keep Parker Washington and let him keep Theo Johnson. Okay. So let's move this over to this next one. This is DJ Grey Goose trading Drake May and Tyrone Tracy for Jalen Warren. We have Mahomes, so I understand the move, and it's a fair trade if you really wanted to. But here's what I think you got to do. I think that ultimately you have to try to sell Drake May for a little bit more than this. This does seem like a thin price to sell Drake May at, even if you have Patrick Mahomes. Eric says, use promo code FLOCK. Underdog hasn't added $100 to my account, Mason. So if you use promo code FLOCK when you sign up to Underdog Fantasy, you will get that $100 added to your account, like we say in every single promo, but it's after you play your first $5. So play your first $5, get $100 added to your account with promo code FLOCK. You should also get that free Dak Prescott pick, higher or lower half a total yard, going up against the Cardinals tonight. Links in the description. It's in the comment section. It's in the live chat. And if you're having any additional issues, again, I'm sorry. I can help you in terms of getting you the free questions on flockfantasy.com. If you're having any issues with that, you can email support@flockfantasy.com. If you're having any issues getting the $100 added to your account, I'm not going to be able to help you there. There, you would have to reach out to Underdog support. I have no control over that. Okay. Now, let's move this over to our next one. This is going to be Z Leon, longtime member of the flock. You're trading Sutton and Kamani Vidal for Rome Odunze. I have Rome Odunze, and I think I would trade him right now for Sutton and Vidal. I'd rather have the additional running back. Okay. Now, next one's from Bitter Hornet. Says, bad news. We lost Daniels. This is one of my first. Oh, yeah, I would make this deal easily. Aaron Jones looks like a zero getting Lamar. Similar to that first trade you sent, I think it would be a no-brainer. Found a trade partner to replace Daniels. He has Lamar Stafford, but he needs a running back, wide receiver. What should I offer for quarterback? So he also has Dart. So he has 3 QBs. I'm not going to go out there and trade a ton for Stafford or Dart. They are slightly better than streaming options, but it's not like they're an elite QB like Lamar. Here, I'd be willing to make this trade. I'd be willing to send all these players and get Lamar Jackson back. In terms of if we'd be willing to sell anything more, I'd be willing to send them Tedero, McMillan, and Chase Brown for Lamar Jackson. And hell, throw Jaden Daniels in there if they just want to see the name on their team or they think Daniels could be back by the time the fantasy playoffs gets here. And let's see what the next trade you have is. Looking to replace Daniels, see Lamar and Dart. Huge Giants fan. Okay. And then you're also mentioning what quarterback we could look at off the waiver wire. Let me see. Quarterbacks that you have on waivers, you have Fields, you have Flacco. I would say that those are probably by far and away the best 2 names here. Like I said, I would be willing to add more than just Aaron Jones to T. Higgins. I maybe send them Ja'Cory Cross-Gameret and Aaron Jones. Try to do this 3-for-1 deal if possible. What they may end up asking for is they may end up asking for Rico Dowdle, which maybe you want to try to send them Rico Dowdle and a lesser wide receiver than Higgins. Like send them Rico Dowdle and Terry McLaurin for Lamar. Now, it's JP. Here we have, and we got Trey Man getting the hat as well. Hell yes. Yeah, I think a lot of y'all, like I said, last week, we really got more free time. So I was able to ship out like 100 hats a day. Today, I just sent out another like 160 hats. So I'm making our way down. I think we're like halfway through shipping out all these hats, which it's gotten a lot faster now that we've been able to come up with like a system to do it. So I'll try to ship out another like 120 hats for y'all tomorrow, but slowly but surely we are going to make enough space on the dining room table to be able to eat there and stop having to eat on the couch/floor. It's JP trading Justin Herbert, Amari Hampton, Brock Bowers for Tyler Warren and Bijan. Bowers to Tyler Warren, clear downgrade. Herbert and Hampton to Bijan Robinson, massive, massive upgrade. You have Caleb. This team had Jaden Daniels, which is why they would do it. Honestly, I hate selling Bowers. I have a ton of Brock Bowers in Underdog best ball drafts, so I hope he continues to dominate. But yeah, I would probably go ahead. I'd make this deal. Okay. Now, Bitter Hornet with another one. Okay, come on. You can do this. There we go. Says, offer this. No way I would do this for Lamar. Is Dart worth... Oh, no. Do not do this. Do not do this. Like, in terms of the alternative of like, oh, we go pick up Justin Fields and Joe Flacco and play the matchups between the two of them, I would way rather do that than send Rico Dowdle, who looks like he is a borderline RB1 rest of season, to pick up a quarterback like Jackson Dart. I think that offer that we had for Lamar involving Dowdle was a lot closer than that one. And then, yeah, don't do this either. Don't send Tedero McMillan to pick up somebody like Matthew Stafford. You'd be much better off just picking up Justin Fields and Joe Flacco for free and playing the matchups. Now, I've been offered this. I lost Daniels. What do you think? He has Parker Washington, Kincaid, Theo, Ramondre, Marks, Bijan, Leggett, Devonta Smith. Here, this is actually very close to that offer that we had came up with, which was the Rico Dowdle and Terry McLaurin for Lamar Jackson. I would say if we're just talking straight value, this deal specifically, obviously we don't like it as much as if we were to just go ahead and send the combination of Rico Dowdle as well as Terry McLaurin, because T. Higgins does look like a startable name every single week. But I think you can make it because you lost Jaden Daniels and you have a good enough team to compete if you have that quarterback. Again, I would rather sell McLaurin than Higgins, but I understand it. Okay. Now, Jason here has Wandale and AJ Brown on the side. I'm going to send you over a free trade question. I don't really know what you're asking here, my guy. But Bitter Hornet with the next question. He's 0-9, willing to trade Lamar. No, you don't like these type of trades. I would have Lamar, CMC, Bijan, Puka. May have to give him Sutton in case of Ricky. Yeah. So, I'm not a big fan of making these massive deals where we are sending this many assets away. But if we look at something like this, the reality of the situation is Aaron Jones doesn't really hold any value. Like, here's what we can do with this. Let's get down to the meat and potatoes of it. Because Aaron Jones is never swinging this deal one way or another. Byshell Tutin's never swinging this deal one way or another. Theo Johnson's never swinging this one way or another. Parker Washington's never swinging this one way or another. The trade with how this is currently laid out is Rico Dowdle, Ricky Pearsall, T. Higgins, Tyler Warren versus Lamar Jackson and Bijan Robinson. If we are looking at this deal, we already discussed that Dowdle Higgins for Lamar. This is essentially adding on Ricky Pearsall and Tyler Warren for Bijan. Which, in that case, I think that I would much prefer having the combination of Lamar Jackson as well as Bijan Robinson. So, especially with the context of us currently sitting in a spot in which we lost Jaden Daniels. We clearly really want a quarterback. I definitely like these deals that you're sending with Lamar Jackson a hell of a lot better than the deals with Dart and the deals with Stafford. Like, don't do those deals with Dart. Don't do those deals with Stafford. Well, let me send you over another 10 free start set questions. So you should have hopefully a ton of questions in your account, my friend. Okay. Eric says, everything good about streaming non-football content during the off season? It's not that I've never thought about it. It's just like, one thing that I did that was, I think, very smart this year in comparison to years past is years past I would make videos every single day during the Dynasty off season, where I'd be like, oh, here's the Dynasty buy low. Here are my top 5 Dynasty buy low candidates. And I'd be like making videos every single day during the off season. Still about fantasy football, but making videos every single day. And we stopped doing that. I don't know. We stopped doing that this year, where it was like I was making one video a week instead. And I had started in the past, I feel like, live streaming earlier than we did this year as well. And waiting just a bit made it where I was so much more excited to get going this year. And also, like, I still very much look forward to these streams. Where, like, in years past, like, at points I was miserable. Like last year at this time of the year, I was live streaming 5 hours a day, and I had made 600 videos that time of year, and I was like, I'm burnt out. But like right now, I still look forward to these live streams, still having a ton of fun. And yeah, so I am probably going to, like, because as I'm getting older, realistically, I'm not going to be able to keep live streaming every single day for 200 days straight until the end of time, right? That's not sustainable forever. So I need to start being a little more selective and a little bit smarter of how I do things. And I think one thing that I've realized is during the off season, it's better for me to just work on the website and have the website in the best place it can be come the football season and be super energized and super excited to make videos and live stream versus like make a bunch of videos in the off season just for the hell of it. So it's not that I haven't thought about it, but I think that it'd be better if I don't. But let's move this back. Pyro here, quarterback. This is week 10. You start Baker Mayfield over Brissett. It's just way too early. Like, how the hell am I supposed to know how to rank Kyle Monangai in these players? If I'm going to be honest with you, my friend, I don't know how to submit your week 10 starting lineup right now. I don't know the matchups. I don't know the health status of DeAndre Swift. I don't know what Bam Knight looks like tonight, which is going to impact if we want to start him next week. So I'm going to go ahead and send you over a free start sit question, so you can submit this later in the week when we have much better information. Okay. Let's see. Thomas has become a running influencer during the offseason. If y'all look up the YouTube channel Mason Dodd, back whenever I first started doing like triathlon stuff, I posted, I recorded and posted triathlon vlogs, which was just a fun thing that I did, right? Which, again, I mean, if I'm going to do anything like that during the off season, I just wanted to do it for fun, not expecting it to be anything. Bitter Hornet says available on the waiver wire, Flacco, Fields. Yeah, like I said, Flacco and Fields would be our main guys. Here with this deal in particular, again, I'm fine with it. I understand it. I would probably rather get Parker Washington than Kareem Hunt. I know your previous one to this, you were getting Hunt with Lamar, but I do think Parker Washington would probably be the better name. Now, Bobby Wadwa here's trading Nico, Gadsden, and Etienne for Bucky Irving. This is a hell of a lot for Bucky. Bucky coming off multiple injuries. I know rumors are saying that he's going to be good to go and back this week, but we don't know that for 100% fact. So I would probably just go ahead and hold on to the package here. Like, I have Nico and Etienne on my own team, and I wouldn't trade both of them for Bucky Irving. Not right now. Okay, now send DMs trading Devontae Adams for Trey McBride. This is an 8-team league where wide receiver depth is super easy to come by, and we just lost Tucker Kraft. So 100%. 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, 8-team league. Wide receiver depth doesn't matter at all. Go ahead, make this deal, and let's just get McBride. Yonder is trading Etienne and Waddle for Flowers and Montgomery. Fair deal, up to you. Realistically, Flowers probably the best player in this trade, but again, I think this is a fair deal and it's going to be up to you. Okay. Next question's Perez trading Chase Brown, Derrick Henry for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Leftover running back, you'd have Brees, CMC, and that's it. Wide receiver, we have Rome, Tet, Debo. Here's the thing. If I was trading both Chase Brown and Derrick Henry, I think I could get a little bit more. Especially with the Pirine injury, where now all of a sudden, if you're viewing Chase Brown, this is a running back that is seeing like 90+% of the opportunities in Cincy. Okay. Now, Luke Chon trading Baker, A.J. Brown for Lamar and Khalil Shakir. Yeah, I would go and get Lamar. I think Lamar's in a different tier. Quinn trading Achane and Rome for Bijan. We have JSN, JMO, Waddle, Pearsall. So you have startable receivers. This is going to be a fair deal. It's up to you. It's very difficult for me to know how to evaluate Rome Odunze right now. He's on my team, obviously. Absolutely hate to see what we had this past week, but I assume it's not this bad forever. At least I would hope not. Okay. Now, Bitter Hornet trading Parker Washington for Trevion Henderson. I think Parker Washington probably has the higher floor, but I think Trevion Henderson has a much higher ceiling. So I'd go the ceiling play. Parker Washington or Romeo Doubs. I'd go Doubs with all the injuries in Green Bay. I think Doubs is the better player. I think he's a better quarterback. Yeah, both teams have a bunch of injuries. G-Salt trading Rome Odunze, Daniel Jones for Mahomes and T. Higgins. I have Rome Odunze on my team, and I'd trade him in a deal like this in a heartbeat. And go get Mahomes and Higgins. Bitter Hornet says, these are the cues. Yeah, so I know the previous trades that you had sent us where you would have been trading for either Matthew Stafford or Jackson Dart, we really didn't like. But this is a trade that makes a lot more sense, the cost that you are doing. So yeah, this is the type of deal where I think you can afford to go out there and trade for one of those lower tier quarterbacks. It's not Lamar. And this is a similar type deal. Or if you're getting Shakir back, I think that this is a fair one. I would say in general, all in all, where I currently stand on this is I would prefer us either paying the price up and getting Lamar Jackson, or if you can't get Lamar Jackson, I would prefer going to the waiver wire and picking up Justin Fields and Joe Flacco and playing the matchups between the two of them. Those would be my top priorities or my top options, as opposed to taking out the name at... Okay, this, I did not see this. Did you see what Underdog tweeted about the stream? No. This is, yeah, those would be my top options. What did Underdog tweet about this stream? Let's see. Live on, yeah, that's funny. I thought you were talking about this stream. Here's a general thing. that like all brands do. It's like, I feel like meme posting on some pages, it's like, let's not do it. Let's not do it. I see it now. I'm not going to share that on here. Oh, are you scared? Come in here. Come in here. This dog is the funniest dog ever. Oh, you're not even going to come say hi to the stream? I don't know if y'all heard her. She was barking up a storm. I guess something's outside. And then she bust open the door so she can run under and lay under the desk. Okay, so let's... move this to our next one. So this is going to be from Chowdown. So Subflock told you about Terrell Jennings. Yes. Embarrassing. Last week, see Terrell Jennings on the team, go, who the hell is that? Why is he on your team? But I don't even know who he is. Like, literally did not even know who he was. This 14-team auction redraft league, point per first down. Who to flex, pick up to flex for week 10? Ooh. I'm going to be completely honest with you, my guy. I don't have the ability to see the waiver wire on a start sit question. I'll send you over a few free questions here. If you wanted to like fill out a start sit question with your favorite options from waivers that you would play, we could go ahead and look at it that way. I'd say Parker Washington is obviously a name that a lot of people are going to be looking at. And if you needed a short-term start, even though he doesn't have a crazy high ceiling, I definitely think he could be somebody that's interesting. Okay. Hey, you got to stop. You're being bad. You're being bad. Okay. I hate injuries is trading Montgomery for Dallas Goedert. I'm assuming you lost Tucker Kraft. Yeah, you lost Tucker Kraft, so... I'd be fine if you wanted to go ahead and do this. Like for me, I have Dallas Goedert on my own team. If I needed a running back, I'd be fine. Trade him for David Montgomery. But if I see somebody lose Tucker Kraft and they're going to make the opposite move, completely understandable. Now, Bitter Hornet trading Tyler Boyd and Aaron Jones for Igbuka, Darnold, and Mason Taylor. I think this is a reasonable trade to go get you a quarterback. It wouldn't stop me from also picking up like Justin Fields or Joe Flacco and then playing the matchups between them and Sam Darnold's. But yeah, do you want to go out there and make this move, pick up Igbuka and pivot from like Aaron Jones to a QB? Understandable. Bimmerdoc, I only see one half of this trade. I'm going to send you over another free trade question voucher so you can resubmit this when you got your trade ready. Chance trading London for Breece Hall. If we got official word, hey, Breece Hall's been traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, then we would have to sit here and think about this. But as we sit here on November 3rd, where Breece Hall is a New York Jet, I would say that this is a pretty easy call that you just go ahead and you keep the elite level wide receiver, Drake London. Okay. Now, Thin Blue Line says 5-4. I have 4 good running backs. Can only start 3. Would you trade one for Nico to upgrade over Olave? Our 4 running backs are Henry, Jacobs, Kyron, and Dowdle. Here's the thing. I'm going to mark Dowdle as the winner on this because I know that Dowdle just has more value at this point. It's a fine trade, don't get me wrong. But what I would prefer to do, rather than sending Dowdle straight up for somebody like Nico Collins, is I'd prefer to try to package together Dowdle and Olave to go and get yourself a true elite level wide receiver. Rather than just going a running back for a receiver straight up, I would try to make that 2-for-1 deal where we could hopefully go ahead and get the top tier level option at the wide receiver position. Now, Madowdy is trading Harvey and Jefferson for Kyron Williams. We have nobody reliable at running back, so I completely understand you making this trade, but I'm not going to mark Kyron as the winner because I do think that the raw value, in my opinion, is actually going to be the RG Harvey and Justin Jefferson side. But again, I completely understand you making this deal and not going to fault you at all for it. You could very easily talk me into the Kyren Williams side being the winner based off how bad you need a running back. Okay. Now, let's see if we can refresh this. So we're all caught up on those quick questions. We can pivot back over and look at some more team reviews. This one's from It's JP, says 6 point per pass completion. Ooh, the door is open. Give me one sec. All right. 6 point per pass. Point per completion, 6 point per passing touchdown. 5 point bonuses for 40-yard touchdowns and 100-yard games. So here, a format like this is highly going to incentivize the quarterbacks that don't run the ball a ton, but can lead the NFL in passing, as opposed to the quarterbacks that aren't going to have a ton of passing volume, but can pick up a bunch of rushing touchdowns. So standard fantasy football league, obviously, it very easily prefers somebody like Jalen Hurts over Matthew Stafford. But in a format like this, Matthew Stafford would be a much better option than Jalen Hurts. Thoughts on selling Bowers and a quarterback for a running back if I can either get Loveland off the waiver wire or Warren McBride via trade? So in terms of selling Bowers, I am not looking to sell Brock Bowers high personally. But with that being said, where it would make sense, in my opinion, is not if we were to trade for Tyler Warren or Trey McBride, because that's going to make things very awkward, where you're either having to take the risk and trade for Tyler Warren, trade for Trey McBride before you send away Brock Bowers and hope that we can sell Bowers, or you're going to have to do the opposite, where you're going to need to sell Bowers with the hope that you can then trade for Tyler Warren or McBride, where there's a lot of hope if you were to make a move like that. Where for me, what I would rather do is I would rather just stick with what we have. Now, of course, with that being said, if you're able to get Loveland off the waiver wire for free, then all of a sudden that does put you in a position in which you do have the flexibility where you can send Bowers away. But I'm not doing so until we actually were to get one of those tight ends. But looking at what we have in terms of quarterbacks, we have Herbert, we have Caleb. Herbert's actually a great option like this, given the fact that he's not going to have a ton of rushing upside, but you're going to have a lot of passing volume. So we're absolutely chilling with him here. Looking at running back, we have not really anybody we're excited about in the short term. We are 5-3 coming into this week. Looking at the fact that we have Bowers, we're probably 6-3 right now. Definitely not a guarantee, but a very real possibility. So, it's a team in which you should be thinking about long-term upside. Hampton, Henderson, Benson all have long-term upside. Wide receiver, we have Igbuka, Tedero, McMillan, Keenan, Pearsall. It's a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, 14-team format. And then we have the elite tight end with Bowers. So waiver wire moves, I would look to cut Darius Slayton, pick up Loveland. If you can't get Loveland, I would pick up Reed, but honestly, pick up Loveland kind of regardless, because Loveland would be a better option in the flex than what you'd have with somebody like Darius Slayton. So that is a no-brainer. Now, I'm sorry, I'm trying to sit here and think if there's... The thing is, there is a world in which I think you would need to go through and you would actually need to sell Brock Bowers. That world would be if you were sitting here with a losing record and we were like, well, crap, we don't know when we can trust Amari and Hampton. We don't know when we can trust Trey Benson. We don't know when we can trust Trevion Henderson fully. But because you have a winning record and you have the upside with these plays, I'm not making that kind of trade. I would cut Slayton. I'd pick up Loveland. If you can't get Loveland, you pick up Reed. But you find yourself in a really good spot with all these rookies when you have a winning record to the extent that we can't afford to just think about long-term upside. I wish I had something really exciting, like you should go out there and you should make a trade. And don't get me wrong, if you pick up Loveland and then you get an incredible offer where you can sell Bowers and get Bijan, get Gibbs, then sure, go out there and do it. But it's not necessarily something that needs to happen. But I wish I had something for you here, but I think you have a good team for these league settings. I think the team's going to get better over time with the injuries. The only thing I would do is cut Slayton and look at the waiver wire for like Loveland or Reed. But really appreciate you. And Eric says the $100 underdog bonus just came through for the promo code Masons G. Appreciate you. Sorry, I don't know why it took a second for that to happen. Again, I don't have any control over what happens there when the $100 comes through when you use code FLOCK, but I haven't seen, like, we have a bunch of people that use code FLOCK and Underdog every day, and I haven't seen anybody complaining to me about it. So my base assumption is always, don't worry, you'll get the $100. Okay. Now, here from Nico Nick says 6-team deep home league with no incentive to win, but awful forfeit for last place. Therefore, only aim is to stay out of the toilet bowl. Had lots of injuries over this season, but that's honestly funny that there's no like first place prize, but it's like, hey, if you get last, you're going to get punished. That is pretty funny, my friend. Okay. But anyway, we are currently the third team in the league analyzer. We're 3-5 coming into this week. So what I like and what I don't like about this league, I don't like the fact that it's a 6-team league. Obviously, gross. But I'm not going to fault you. If you only know 5 buddies that want to get in a fantasy football league with you, trust me, I've been there. I pretty much played Dynasty Fantasy Football exclusively from 2014 to 2020 with internet strangers that I'd never met in real life because I never knew anybody in real life that ever want to play in a Dynasty league with me. So I completely get it. If you only have 5 people to play with, you only got 5 people to play with. But what I like about this is the fact that you go, hey, it's going to be a shallow league where only 6 people are playing, but let's make it a start 11 format. So at least the depth with your starting lineups will matter somewhat. So I hate the fact that we don't have too many teams in, we don't have that many teams in here, but I like the idea that we have a ton of starting lineup spots. Quarterback, we have the second best quarterback room in this league. Superflex league as well. We have Lamar, Herbert, Caleb, absolutely chilling. But one thing that I really got to stress here with this team is the only thing that matters is upside. The floor of these players is completely irrelevant. And what's the true upside that you're going to get with somebody like Kareem Hunt? What's the true upside that you're going to get with somebody like Tajee Spears? No idea. So what I would look to do is I would cut Kareem Hunt. I would cut Tajee Spears. I would pick up RJ Harvey. I would pick up Jordan Mason. I would have done that yesterday. Going over to the top end at running back, you have Barkley, you have Dowdle, you have Hampton, you have Chase Brown, you have Trey Benson. I mean, hell, if people are willing to make trades in your league and there is no incentive to win the league, only to not have the worst record, these injured players like Amari and Hampton, like Trey Benson, I would try to go through and send them in 2-for-1 deals with guys like Cortland Sutton, Jordan Addison, and see if we can get upgrades inside the starting lineup. Then wide receiver, we have Puka, Nico, Sutton, Addison, Marv. Tight end, we have Ferg and Gadsden. So yeah, I mean, in terms of trades, I would try to sell the injured running backs at a discount to get improvements inside the starting lineup in the short term here. If the only thing that we care about is not having the worst record in it. And also with that in mind, I would go ahead. I would also cut Kareem Hunt, cut Tajee Spears, knowing the only thing that matters is upside. And I would go ahead and go after players like RJ Harvey as well as Jordan Mason. But I really appreciate you and really hope I was able to help you out in some way with this. And again, really appreciate you and thank you for everything, my friend. But we got about 15 minutes to kick off. I think we're probably gonna call the stream here, ladies and gentlemen, so I can get ready for kickoff. Probably got to record a clip for the Flock League real quick, get that over in the chat. But I think that's all I got for you. I will probably have the game up on one monitor here, then the other monitor be prepping the waiver wire video for tomorrow. Get that recorded for y'all during this game. But if y'all during the videos, if y'all see my eyes wandering, majority of the time it's because recording during a game, we got the game on the other monitor. But really appreciate y'all. Of course, I'll be live talking about the game after it ends tonight. And thank you. Appreciate you. And hope I get to see you then.